I'm about to lose the love of my life because I have small gen in my nose. Okay, yeah, guys, I snore. And it's crazy because I could have sworn that I didn't until my roommates in university pointed it out to me. Since then, I've been so self conscious. I don't do sleepovers, and if there's anything that makes me stay out of my home at night, I stay awake for most of the night just so I don't turn on the gen.
Oh my
And
God.
it's not like I'm fat, so are you crazy?
Are you into big boom?
Keep telling people you have anxiety issues. It's a lie. You are just wicked and mad. Look, you've done BBL and we're all happy for you. Carry your new bum and go outside.
This is the podcast for you.
I'm not poor. Are you sure? It's because they are vaping. Now everybody's marrying on time. At your big age. Wait now. Do you know that I don't have clean pants to wear tomorrow?
I said what I said. The Unsolicited Opinions podcast starts now.
Please, this is a public place.
Hello, boys and girls. This episode of I Said What I Said is the definition of a love letter. Do you know why? Kemi and I are in two different countries, and instead of taking a break like normal people, we were like, oh no, the podcast. So we actually recorded online. Anyway, this episode was not what you guys expect. I know you guys think we're going to come complain about Nigeria while telling you about our holidays. I said no, we have to wait till we're back in the same place. So this episode is a bit of gisting. We imagine what we would be like as guests at Jeff Bezos's wedding, what we would do if, either of our significant others broke up with us as plebeians after being invited to such a huge celebrity wedding. We spoke about the importance of older women sharing their advice, their ideas and truths honestly with young women, with nobody having their back up, not being too precious about what's going on. What else did we talk about? We saw some really interesting dilemmas and we just caught up a little bit. That's all. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode and we will see you next week. Enjoy.
Hello, boys and girls.
Hello, all.
What a lovely time. As you can see, we are on a digital medium
The bounce is
today.
long distance.
The bounce is long distance. So you've not seen me like 3 weeks. How are you coping?
I'm doing very well, actually.
Yeah, that's a shock to me. I see that you've not collapsed and I'm wondering what's going on.
And you see how my skin is glowing, no stress.
Yeah, good. Ah, so I came back, everybody, where's Jola? I said, please, I don't know such questions. Don't ask me stupid questions. Anyway,
First of all,
yes, the bounce. What?
I can't believe we're this dedicated. Genuinely.
Hi, do you know that? So I saw on Saturday, I saw someone that was like, oh, that they got our out of office email. And so they just thought maybe we're not doing something this week. And I thought, well, wouldn't that be lovely? To get to just sort of skip school today. It feels like that, but I feel like we'll get in so much trouble if we just don't do. Well, you guys, 1 week, will you actually fit? I don't think so.
Not so. I would
I
hope
don't think
not.
so. I don't think it's that. Is it? I don't think it's that serious. And then all of you that normally insult my Samsung, I want you to know that that is the reason that you can see me today. Absolutely. If my phone could not fold, we wouldn't have this picture of you. So,
No.
that's it. Eh?
In fact, it even took us like 2 hours to get to this, so everybody should just be
See,
grateful.
I want to
Genuinely.
tell you the truth. There's a reason why Nigeria, like we're not making it out of the hood as a nation, and the reason is because I had to leave my home and come to my mother's house because of internet network chain in order for this call to
Crazy.
happen. Now, when you live in a nation where your mates in other countries are streaming 24 hours, how can you compete?
It's so
So,
bizarre.
I don't know. I don't know. I
So
don't know what the
I don't know if I want us to talk about a holiday yet till I'm back.
Really? Why?
I don't think
That's
because
kind
mine
of what
hasn't
everybody
finished.
wants us to talk about, to be honest.
But mine hasn't finished.
Jola, you're on the latter end, okay?
It doesn't
You're
matter.
on the tail end.
It doesn't matter.
And
I will hold on to my last breath.
unless you're into nefarious activities, your money is finishing.
Finishing
So
or finished.
your money is finishing because as I came back, I said, my net worth currently, it can't even spell net worth.
It's so
So
crazy.
no, it's bad.
My mom asked me to get some because everybody knows my mom is really into fitness, so she wanted some new running shoes. So I was like, oh yeah, like that this pair, blah blah blah. She said, get it for me. I said, how? She was like, "Oh no, get it. I'll send you the money." I said, "No, you have to send it and then I'll get it."
Yeah. Let me not lie. It's not okay. Mind you, you have to bring some things back for me, please, because I
I
did.
can never
Let me
do
tell you
that.
why. I forgot them for the reason that I can't afford to pay for excess baggage. It's
Even it's sweet.
small. It's actually very small. Everything that I need to bring back, like it fits into like a Ziploc bag.
Mm,
Sincerely,
that's fine.
sincerely. So that's it. Mostly, I forgot my mom's things actually that she told
Okay,
me to
okay,
bring.
fair enough.
So
I
she's been
can
looking at me with
fancy a
an
car. I
eye.
can bring. I can
Been looking
fancy
at me
a
with an eye currently. So whatever,
car.
that's life. I mean, look, if we're not going to talk about the holiday, what are we going to discuss now?
We'll do their dilemmas. They've written many, many, many,
Oh,
many a dilemma has been
oh, I'm
stacking
going
up
to
for
forget.
weeks.
Do you know that by the time you come back, I'm going to forget everything that happened
No, you can't. Faking me,
when
that
I
holiday
was.
was too much. You can never forget.
Let me tell you something. Wow. There. Okay.
No,
Anyway,
you
we're
can
not
never
talking about
forget.
it. But I just want you guys to know for next week that there are levels to this enjoyment issue. No, 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 no. No, to be fair, both of us have done the most we can possible
Yeah.
in this time
Mm-hmm.
frame. Wow. No, it's actually it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And as I've come back and I'm just like, oh God, people are sending me emails. I'm just thinking to myself, this is not what I signed up for at all. It's not what I was looking at my mates who were leaving the holiday, going to some other place, and they were like, where are you going? I said, well, I'm going home, which is yeah, so that's how the cookie crumbles.
The
Okay,
only thing is,
dilemma.
I've been
Hmm?
I've not been eating well. So like
What do you mean?
my building, my building is going to have so much work to do. It's not showing, no, but my skin is wow.
No, mine is showing. Mine is showing because we were in the sun. I mean, Lagos is hot. Ibiza is,
Mm,
wow. It was hot, and the problem is we were not really. I mean, I wore sunscreen, but I think
mm.
the problem was the amount of alcohol consumed cannot allow anybody's bodily functions move in a sensible manner. Like I actually believe that I need to do a blood test because I'm actually still feeling somehow. That's
Yeah,
the truth. I saw Quactus the other day and I was like, I don't think I can drink anymore. Like for the
fair.
foreseeable future because no, 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 no. It's a lot. So yeah, my skin is not having a great time. I've also gotten like 2 shades darker. Listen, this is the price one has to pay. That's fine. I mean, I don't mind personally.
Mm.
I don't
You know,
mind. But yeah, so
I have been I've been using the under eye patches, and they've really been working because particularly for nights when instead of me to sleep 3 a.m. to wake up at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. Wow. The eye patches have had to come in handy, but genuinely, when I get back
yeah.
to Lagos, I kind of sit down and think about my life and my skincare.
I do. I have to like start again. I feel like because our shows are coming up soon, I'm like, my skin actually can't be like this. So I'm thinking, do
Girl,
I need to go and start doing a facial or some sort of procedure? Then
yeah.
I'll start again from there.
Speaking of shows, we sold out our Canada tour. We have
Yes,
like
we have.
6-ish tickets left for New York, I think 6 or 7,
Yeah, what are
something
you
like that.
guys reading? What's you people's plan?
I don't think
Um,
people know those tickets are available. They're like they're apparently called the house seats. They're the one that looks like you are a patron
yeah, of the house. I
where
know
you
what you
sit
mean.
in like the queue
So
or
you
something.
guys,
Yeah,
please, you can buy those tickets. So please buy them so that we can move forward with our lives
yeah.
and
And then
say
London is
it's
where
literally those tickets that are stopping us from saying that this thing is sold out.
yeah, and then London is where like wow, the big guns. That's our biggest show ever. But I'm excited.
I
Um,
am. I'm
it's
very
also
excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
yeah, it's also odd because I don't know how people listen to the podcast because I've bumped into a few people here who have asked me literally when are you coming to London? I'm like, we have tickets out for the show in London, and they're like, what? I didn't know that.
And I'm
What? I didn't
always
know that.
just like, I don't understand. So people have been saying, oh, they're figuring, and I'm like, wait, so you want to come? You can see the tickets are out. You're asking me if they're still available, but you've not bought. And so I'm just like,
Yeah,
and someone was saying, before now they'll say sold out. I'm like, it's actually not sold out. Yes, you can actually buy the ticket. But
yeah.
what
We
I
even
know
did
from
a
the statement
much
you just made is that you've not checked that thing.
Yeah, we even
because
need a much,
nobody is
much
hustling.
bigger
Like you can
space.
buy. It's huge. It's huge. Like it's
Mm.
huge.
It's
So
huge.
I'm hoping
It's
I'm
huge.
hopeful that it will sell also. I think also we've been
Yeah, yeah.
away and so in the episodes we haven't necessarily been talking about it and all that. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
anyway, the moral of this particular story is that you guys need to go and round up those remaining tickets so that we can keep it's absolutely moving. Your time is here. Don't disgrace us. I
Yes.
always say, especially in New York, I'm like, guys, it's like 7 tickets. That's what's left. That's what's left. It's like 7 tickets. London, you people are many. We need to get this ball moving. We need to get this ball moving. You need to buy all the tickets so that we can come through, and that's it. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the shows. I think it's fun. I want to run something by you. Okay. Now,
Okay.
we said that we'll discuss our holiday. No, you said okay as if what I'm about to say is going to be a sensible thing. And that's not the case.
Okay.
So now you've mentioned that we're talking about holiday next week when you come back. Good. Now, one of the things that
Mm-hmm.
happened in this time that we've been away is that my grandfather died. May so rest in peace. Adio Papa.
Oh
Now,
yes.
yes. Now I'll also talk about that next week because it's part of the holiday issue. But one of the key things that happened is that because my grandpa died and he's Muslim, there was an 8-day prayer, and the 8th day fell on the 16th of June, which was the day I was supposed to see Beyonce. Okay? Now, the moral of the story, which you will hear in length last week, is that I didn't see Beyonce, and my mommy went to see Beyonce on my behalf. That is also another day story because now all of a sudden, oh, she's not real. I said, okay, but you didn't know. When I've been saying it, you were wondering what was going on.
No,
Now,
it's different to see her.
here's what I want to pitch to you. This is my proposal. I just want I want you and the general audience to see if it makes sense. Because I said it yesterday and my friend's mom said to me that, okay, so I don't want to do the London show. That's what I'm saying. I said, no, what I think is that my plan can work, especially if I manage to find like a private jet. Now, here's the plan. Beyonce
Mm-hmm.
is performing in Vegas on the 25th, okay,
Okay.
of July, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our London show is on the 27th of July.
Mm-hmm.
Is it not possible for me to quickly branch Las Vegas for
For
the
sure.
Beyonce and then be back in time for the London show?
100%.
Okay. So
How are you going
that's
to
what
afford it?
what's it?
How are you going to afford it?
Those are not the questions that should be asked.
Okay, so sorry. So
So
sorry. So
because
sorry.
let me
So
tell you the challenge. The challenge is that like the flights land at like 6 in the morning. It's actually not the end of the world. But all the direct flights are like the big, big, big airlines. And I need all these I need to connect from Vegas to like all these Atlanta before I can get to, or I need to get a direct flight. But the total cost is quite high.
won't you be flying from London?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm flying from London, but in order to
Yeah.
get back as in the morning, like 6 a.m., and not risk getting back in the afternoon or whatever, I have to spend like, let's just say like 2.5
Okay.
on the flight and like another $400 on the ticket. And then obviously
Okay.
accommodation. But if someone had a jet that I could use, this would be fine.
Fair enough. I wish you good luck with that.
What?
I wish you good luck with that.
What do you mean? I thought we were going to find solutions.
Yes, my
Okay, you
solution
don't
for
want to
you is
go.
great. No, I'm okay. I've seen Beyonce.
Yeah, I've seen her also before, but I didn't see
No, I
her
saw her
now.
for the cowboy concert too.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You saw her. I'm just sad. I mean, obviously, family, whatever. But, ultimately, ultimately, I remember when we were debating, half of my family was like, listen, Beyonce is alive. So that's actually. They were like, listen, Grandpa Chief was 96. He lived. Beyonce is how old? So if you look at it that way, anyway, in the end, obviously, I didn't go. But so this is just the solution I'm trying to figure out. Do you think that because Davido is on tour, if I reach out to say that I need like transportation, he would be amenable to that?
He just might be.
You think so?
He just might be.
Yeah, I think so. For sure. So that's everything. Although having said that, when we were in Ibiza, one time he left me in the hotel, but that's an aside.
He left you in the hotel, okay?
Yeah, as in we were meant to go with him. We were a lot, so there were different groups of people. So we missed the first two cars, and then his own car was the third. He left us.
Well,
I now
well,
got there. He said, "Oh," I said, "Oh." So because of that experience, I'm not so sure about the jet, but I'm gonna look
well,
into
I'm
it.
actually, I just checked like Sky Scanner, and you're right. Unless you take your only direct flight option is like 2K,
Yeah,
genuinely.
and it's BA, so
Yeah.
it's not okay. Like the whole flight will cost me like $2,500 as in order to make sure that I get back, before the break of dawn in the morning. So that's the way life is. That's the way life is. I even also checked hotels. Now, obviously, because it's Vegas in the summer, that's already one problem. But because Cowboy Carter is now that weekend, everywhere is back.
Mm.
So
Are
these
you sure we don't
also
have any listeners that live in Vegas?
what I'm saying. You guys, if you live in Vegas, let's see the things that we can run. I really believe that the things that we can run. And I'm putting it out there because I'm praying to God that there is a way. However, my auntie said to me yesterday that, okay, what's the worst case scenario if I go? I miss the show. Then if I'm fine with that, I should go ahead. I said,
You said what?
I was like, what sort of consequence? She was like, no, what is the worst that can possibly happen if I decide to do what is, obviously a stupid thing? She said, yeah, so I'll just miss the London show, which is fine, she guesses. I was like, why
What?
would it? And she was like, that'll now be the day that they win the something something. I cannot move from Vegas, this one, that one. So she was like, considering I don't have a private jet, she's not sure my plan. So between now and then, I'm looking to befriend someone who has a jet, A, who is going back to London, B. So that's my criteria. C, possibly if the person is also a Beyonce fan. So if you know anyone out there that meets this criteria, man or woman, preferably woman, really, I think that you should please put me in touch, is what I think. And
Yeah, that
then
would be great.
I think so.
That would
And
be
then I'll just hop on board with them and it'll be fine.
exactly. And do you know what will make it even crazier is that they might just fly in, fly out. So you won't even have to spend money on accommodation.
Exactly, because they might leave from London to go
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just what I think. And
I feel there's like some Arab money guys doing this exact thing we're
what
talking
you
about.
guys see, let me tell you the truth. There are people that are doing this thing.
I'm
There's somebody who
100%
is in
certain.
London who is thinking, oh, I haven't seen Beyonce. Let's go to Vegas. So why don't I
Mhm.
know them?
Yeah, that's what you should actually be worried about why your life is the way it is, in that you don't know anybody living this kind of baller lifestyle. Nothing. You don't even have
Yeah, that's my challenge. Like I'm not getting it.
you
It's
don't have
not
an
adding up
inkling.
to me. It's not, the other thing I considered was how come nobody has brought back the Concorde. Okay, because
Think
on the
that
Concorde, London to New York was 3 hours.
one don't you go deaf?
My dear, it's what I want to do with the hearing after Beyonce again. Okay,
But
the show,
to
that's
get
true.
there,
That's
to get
true, the
there,
show. Okay,
to
that's
get
true. That's true.
and hear
That's
her.
true. I can't be deaf.
Hello, boys and girls.
Hello, all.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Coins by Bamboo is now Missan by Bamboo.
Sexy name.
Very sexy. MISAN. Coins by Bamboo is now Missan by Bamboo. None of the great stuff they had before has changed, but now we have some new
extra things
for you.
So that includes the fact that you can now transfer to an additional 15 African countries. You know, before it was just Canada to Nigeria.
Yes.
Now you have 15 other African countries. And not only that, but you can now go the other way around. So now Nigerians in Nigeria can access the app.
Phenomenal stuff.
Yep.
Also, you can get an instant virtual USD card. So like your Spotify, Amazon, whatever payments that you want to make online, you can get that inside your Missan by Bamboo from Nigeria.
Yeah. And you can also now fund your card in Naira with very, very low transfer fees with some of the best exchange rates and no hidden charges.
Everything is there for you.
Exactly.
So, what else do you need?
Get to Missan by Bamboo and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Bye.
But look, again, this is my problem. You people say you're in tech.
I have another plan
Okay.
that might work. Why don't you send Lauren Sanchez Bezos? I feel like this is the kind of thing she can do.
I should send
Jeff
Lauren
Bezos' new
Sanchez
wife. Send
Bezos.
her an email. Be like, congratulations on the wedding and everything. I have one of the biggest podcasts in Africa and I have a proposal for you.
Uh-huh. What's the proposal?
You take it from there. I've done the best I can. I've done the best I can do.
No, because my main question with your proposal is, what will she gain?
She's helping the poor Africans, man. What else can she gain? What else can she gain? Also, why weren't you invited to that wedding?
I was.
Why weren't you invited to the Besoz-Sanchez wedding?
I was, but the thing is, I'm not like, I don't like to just be so out there. Do you know what I mean? I try to live a private life. And I just told them, listen, I'll see you guys when you get back because it's a bit much for me. And you know, I'm of the people. You know, in my past life, I used to be the president of the people. And so I saw that the people were not too happy about the wedding. So
it was like, why?
You know, I
why
couldn't
would you
really be.
In that way?
What'd you say?
So why would you betray your constituents in that way?
Exactly. So these were the key issues at hand. What else? There just weren't enough blacks for me, actually, to get involved in the situation. Is the truth
It was
of
a
the
very
matter.
celebrity heavy wedding, and obviously, like the whole
do they have friends? Do they have like
yes,
friends?
that's what I was thinking. But the thing is that like our paparazzi is not going to take picture of their friends to be like, oh, friend of the bride.
Yeah,
you know,
to be fair.
Jesse James that nobody knows. So of course they have friends. But then also, like, do they have maybe a lot of his friends who are friends with his ex-wife, and they're just like,
Let me not lie. It was very much giving. There was a very distinct Nigerian wedding vibe to their wedding in that they want to use the wedding to blow.
you know, with the celebrity thing, right? With like her being on the cover of Vogue, and do you know what made me laugh? Fake, I mean, do you know how 100% right you are? She did the most Nigerian babe thing. She relaunched her Instagram with the new name.
Exactly, with a wedding picture. And then I promise you,
only a
all
wedding
the things
picture.
she's going to post for the next 3 months are from that wedding.
You know, I remember thinking, oh wow, because I tend to, and I know it's not right, it's a bit mean. I tend to side eye, like, you know, do you know that this excitement to change your name immediately? Like I remember laughing at one of my friends who, after church, was like, give me my phone. She wanted to change her name right. To change her name right then, but I just thought that's so interesting. She immediately changed her name to.
No, I think
it's
it's very Nigerian coded, and everything they're doing it's just clear that they need this wedding to like make them look. And I'm very surprised that Jeff Bezos, being, you know, a billionaire, needs all of this in his life.
No, but then let's not forget the allure of being like a cool kid, especially if you started off as a nerd. Because remember when Mark Zuckerberg as well did the whole rebrand with the curly hair and his chains, and he started doing MMA fighting, and he started like
He
wearing
started
like
doing
big.
cool things. He started like, I
Yeah, he
mean, he has
started
been
trying to do
wearing
everything.
He had been into fashion,
Yeah, because I think there's an allure of wanting to be cool and wanting to be with an in crowd. It doesn't matter how, which is so
I
crazy
think
to me. It
so.
doesn't matter how well you are.
Celebrities they chose, I was like, wow, like someone actually just did a PR list for you guys. And they
Yeah,
were
I mean,
like,
it
here's
also
here's
depends
who you need to
if
invite.
hmm. Yeah, or people,
Because
but then also they are billionaire celebrities. So it can also just be like people that they think are really cool and just be like, oh, I would like her at my wedding. Like, she's really cool.
yeah. Do you reckon it was all expense paid? It has to be, right?
They're not as poor as us. Okay, that's the first
No,
thing you need
that's
to
what
remember.
I'm just checking. I'm just checking if like
Maybe
they
the
paid for everyone.
hotels and yes, but like maybe one of those like this is the date and the time. Get your ass
Because
over
are
here.
you going to send Oprah money to fuel her jets? You're probably
Exactly.
not. You're probably
No, I
not.
doubt. Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, oh, these are the dates, but then it's probably one of those like call this butler for
Yeah.
information. Like
Anyway,
I
the
don't know.
problem is that someone was saying that the problem is they're not looking like they're having a good time, and that's their
I
main issue.
disagree.
Because really,
I completely
not the
disagree.
couple, the guests.
Oh, right.
Oh, the couple is having time of their life.
Mm. I don't know. I don't know. I think again, very Nigerian coded. I think there's also a thing about people trying to be show that to be like I'm not brand new here. Try not to look too
Yeah,
eager.
like I'm about this. Well, to be honest, if I was there, whoa, I would not have been about it, and you would have known
Yeah,
because so my question now is, if you're a plus one to that wedding, there is personally, I don't plan to behave as if, oh, here's Oprah. I'm absolutely taking the picture. All of you are mad.
yeah. But I think that one of the things that's so interesting, which brings me to so the last episode that came out had the clip of us talking about like how a lot of Lagos property is just weird and
Mm,
some blah 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 blah. Um, But it made me think of something else because someone was talking about it about like who defines luxury and who defines what's great. That's not what
yeah.
I was thinking about. What I was thinking about is this global idea that yeah, the way to show that you are part of a different class is to
Hmm.
not be excited about anything, even if it's
It's
new
right.
to you. Like it's ras to be like to
Yeah.
say, oh wow, what's that? Like you just you just act
You're
like
supposed to
you've
be like in the know and just sort of
mm,
familiar with things.
very
And I
odd.
think it's
I find
weird. I think it's weird.
I find stuff like that quite weird. But I do think that I guess you don't want to act like a fan at a wedding because technically a wedding is supposed to be like a really intimate thing. So you don't want to be there running around being like, "Hey,
But let me tell you
wow,
the problem. The problem is if by mistake I am a plus one to this kind of place, sorry to everybody involved though. I'm actually so sorry because I need us to be realistic about the situation that we're in. Okay? It won't be on the wedding day that I will, but at some point I'm gonna have to be like, guy, maybe you people know yourselves. Me, I don't know you.
this is
Okay?
very exciting."
This is very exciting. But to be fair, I feel like we're personable. And so we'll be gisting. The pictures will come out naturally, but best believe that I'm gonna overdo the content. It's just not
100%.
possible. It's not
100%.
realistic. It's not realistic. What I think will happen if, like, I just imagine the situation I imagine if you let Nigerians into. I promise you, if you let Nigerians into this kind of place, someone's going to go up to Bill Gates. Hello, my name is Tunde. I'm the CEO of Teen
And we are
Enterprise,
solving
and
for
I think I have a great opportunity for you, sir, for
yeah.
you to get in on the ground floor.
Yeah.
And Baba
Reminds
is
me
just
of
like, bro, I'm having a shrimp cocktail. You need to just keep everything moving. So these are the
remember
problems.
and we're not being dickheads because that's exactly what we saw when Jack Dorsey
Yeah,
visited Nigeria.
when Jack from Twitter came,
Crazy.
or he came for a mixer, just chit drinking, it was terrible. It was really awful. Okay.
Yeah.
You people serious boyfriend, they were just hello.
Another idea that I was wondering, because like with foreign weddings and very rich weddings, they don't the lead time is a lot. So obviously, like you
Yeah.
get engaged June 2024, you're getting married August 2025,
Yeah,
which
because
to me
people
is
have to
too long.
plan.
But what I was wondering is, what if like your own plus one, you guys break like so let's say I'm the friend. Let's say it's your wedding right?
Yeah.
And it's a big quote unquote celebrity wedding, right? I'm the guest and my boyfriend is my plus one. Or
Hmm.
my boyfriend is the guest and
Yeah,
I'm the
you're the
plus one.
plus one.
I've bought my tickets, right?
Right.
I bought my tickets myself, but now we've broken up. But Oprah is going to be at this wedding. I
You
don't
can't
know.
break up.
Everybody's let me think of my own goats. Reese Witherspoon, Issa Rae, like people I
Yeah,
think
like
are
just
just
imagine all the people you actually want to
Beyonce
see.
are going to
Beyonce
be at
is
the
there.
wedding.
I can't lie to you. We're actually not breaking up. That relationship will last.
Fakemi, I promise you, there's nothing that man can do until I go to that wedding. There is nothing he
Nothing.
can do that will make
Nothing.
me say,
Do you,
that will make me
as
say,
in front of
"Oh,
my face, you can be sleeping with somebody. I'll ask them that hope, hope they're comfortable. Hope everything is
I hope
okay.
he's doing a good job
Because
over
it's
there."
you that is deceiving yourself. Me, I know my plan. Uh-uh. What do you mean Beyonce is going to be there? Then me, I should break up with you. I don't have any principle. Oh. I don't have any such principle. That's a business. Oh,
And I was thinking about it in a different way, or if you guys have like melded or you've been together long enough, because there was like all stuff. I'm so ashamed of how much celebrity gossip I've been following. But I was reading about like Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom and how apparently they are not they are kind of not, and like I think they were invited to the wedding, so they were like
yeah.
dancing around it. They were like not trying not to be near each other or whatever. And I just thought to myself, like maybe if I'm a
Have they
celebrity,
broken
but
up? I
no,
wasn't on it.
I don't know. I don't know. See, this is why you shouldn't be reading like gossip because quite
Gossip.
frankly, like I don't know what I'm talking about. But it just made me try to imagine what would you do? Yeah, a celebrity, your partner is a celebrity, you guys got invited to this wedding at the time you are dating. Now maybe there's a bit of trouble in paradise. First of
Yeah,
all,
but then
you're
you
not
have
running
to kind of put on like a united. I can't lie, they've done it before, man. They will put on that united front. It's for the plot. Or you can go
Mm,
and just form separate. It depends on how seriously you want to take it. I just feel like I don't know. In that case, I'm not sure it'll be that. It'll be that. I don't think I'll pretend because we're both genuinely invited, and me, I'm still going. In fact, that's the one where I'm going to make sure that I look. Wow, you yourself can't believe it. And so,
yeah.
in that scenario, I'm determined to have all the fun that I've never had in my life, so that you can see me having fun, and then we can all know what's happening. Especially in a room full of billionaires. That's where I want to be. So that's the
Yeah.
kind of place you should go and fall in love. I feel.
Yeah. I remember thinking this looks contrived. I guess it's just because human beings, our natural instinct is to have an admiration for like wealthy people. So you assume they are
Yeah,
better than you in some
yeah.
way. Like surely they have. So seeing like, I was like, are these people actually like their closest friends? Like, are these people who,
Promise you
as a
throughout
couple,
all the pictures, I just kept thinking, don't you guys have like close friends and family who are more than the number of the celebrities? But then again, I also figured actually the pictures I would see are of the celebrities
of
because like
celebrities? Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
why would the paparazzi be taking pictures of Jeff Bezos' childhood neighbor? Nobody gives a damn about that guy. So I'm imagining that surely there were other people there apart from but honestly, that's all I kept wondering that I keep seeing group photos of, and I'm not seeing the random people that normally make up a wedding. But to be fair, I don't know. Who knows? At that stage in life, who knows? The kinds of things that you're thinking about. But it was
Yeah,
very interesting for me to observe. I really enjoyed kind of delving into, and you know what I love? I love a like full outrage about, oh my god, the wedding is so lavish. Sure. Meanwhile, we're here in Lagos, where this is actually a poor country, and see what's happening every weekend. Then he reached Jeff
yep,
Bezos' turn. You say you should not spend the money. No problem. No problem. When you get to your own wedding, do it in your house. So,
right.
I really enjoyed that. What else has happened this week? Beyonce almost fell down. She almost
Oh
fell down
yes, all
on
that.
that car. And do you know that I really truly believe that the number of people that got sacked from that, I feel like actually once it happened, they would have started going home on their own because
Yeah,
I would pay to have seen the post show meeting after that because
duh.
somebody fucked up. Somebody
Especially
definitely
because it's
fucked
not
up.
a new addition to like the
They've been
show.
doing it the whole
She's been
time.
doing
Yeah.
it all over the world. She did it in
They've
other
been
states
doing
in
it. They've been doing it the whole
America.
time. And like on the
Yeah.
second night, she now didn't do it. Was it
Oh,
yesterday or
so
so?
you Tabi. What are you talking about? I'm sure her husband was like, please, we have children.
Like, Joe, please don't you try it. So that's also been interesting. What else has happened that is not holiday content? Listen, not that much. I don't have much
Not
to.
that much. I've not even been following stuff, to be honest. Let me tell you something about Nigerian women. I say it all the time. We achieve.
They achieve.
We
They
achieve.
always achieve. Now, there are a couple of babes who are once again doing what? Achieving.
Yep.
It's the gals from Bolden.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm, mhm.
You know, always we put you on. And I don't think you guys are like catching what
They don't
what-
appreciate
it. They don't. But now we're putting you on. We've been using and trying out some products from Bolden. What do you like?
I love their dark spots fix. My enemies have been at work. And the Bolden lady said, don't worry, jolly baby. We got you.
Got you.
So I like their dark spot fix. I don't use that every night. I use it like every 3 nights. But what I really, really like and I use every single night is their cleanser, like the face wash. It's very gentle. It doesn't have like a strong scent and it does what it's supposed to do. It's not stripping too. Like, you know how your face, sometimes you use some things and your face is not really dry. It's not really dry. No. It does what it's supposed to do. It's lovely, smells great, doesn't have any
all these
reaction,
weird
anything.
things. Let me tell you what I use because these days I like to like feel like I'm into skincare.
Take me, please.
So the thing is I use the eye patches because then you walk around. I make a point to walk around everywhere with the eye patches. Like I'm planning to step out because they're gold and so it's a vibe. I'm planning to actually step out with the eye patches to like, somewhere. Anyway, my dark circles are like going down and I'm quite enjoying.
Oh, I love to hear that.
So you're just supposed to use it like once, twice. That's not how I use it, but that's how you're supposed to use it. And also the glow hydrating mask. Again, if
Why
you
are
really
you saying
want
it like that? What's the
because
glow?
it's the glow hydrating mask. I feel like that's the feeling you get. Glow hydrating mask. Okay, it's because you don't know.
Okay,
but
fair.
if you want to feel like you're really doing skincare, you're applying things. You know when your face, you know all those skincare videos where your face is now like glowy, dewy. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
When you've done it, that's how I feel.
Okay.
I have a glow. There's like a light on me, like a halo that comes out naturally. I promise you, use this thing, you'll see the halo. Your character might be bad. I have a great character. So the halo is there for me. And the glow hydrating mask is just shining on.
Yeah.
Okay?
But they have a great collection of products. Those are the ones we've used and
I'm excited
loved
to like try.
to try more, Bam.
Yeah.
But we want to hear what you think, what you like, what's working for you. We also love the fact that these are 2 Nigerian American women. Fun fact, they went to school together,
Really?
lost touch, did MBAs, and they're married brothers.
Oh, wow. You see, doing things.
Achievements on many fronts.
Many fronts. Everybody's just involved. We love to see it.
Exactly.
Anyway, buy Bolden, use Bolden. Bye.
I actually haven't been like that aware. Ooh, so 2 nights ago on Saturday, my friend Sharon, her mom turned 60. Everybody's mom turning 60. My mom is turning 60. God help us because I'm now the planning committee. Anyway, good luck to everybody involved. Now, she turned 60 and she did this thing. Apart from all the celebrations, she had a girls' night. So it was just her and her friends and her sister and her friend. And there was like an ask me anything with her mom. So her mom came with her own best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like in the house and it was quite casual. The dress code was the now vest. So, we all wore it. But it was so interesting because I was like, wow, everyone should do this. Because
Really?
we were actually just it was actually a beautiful evening because they honestly, her and her friends were honestly just like, listen, at this stage, it's not you people that as in we were asking them. The other when I say we're asking them everything, as in granular, the one you know, the one you don't know. Wow, it was quite an experience.
We've said before that we would like to have like 2 older, very open women on the podcast that we can just
Yeah,
ask any type of
I think it's really, really, really important that we do it because it was deeply fascinating. I can't
Yeah.
lie.
I
It's
mean,
one of
obviously,
the
it's different when you're in a enclosed space with people that you trust and you know. But I really
yeah.
would like to hear more from older women. Maybe not in like ridiculously extreme detail, but I would really like to hear from women who are able to be as honest as they can on a public platform about stuff
Mhm.
that we just they just spend a lot of time being politically correct about. Like,
Exactly.
I really
Exactly.
would love to hear from people like that. Like, there's someone I've asked, and she explained that the truth is that she was like, the way we gist, her colleagues don't know her like that. Her family doesn't know her like that. But
Really?
she's telling me the truth because I'm on her wave. That her friends know her like this, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
But if she was to come on the podcast and just talk honestly as somebody in her late 50s, people would just be like, oh, they'll be so aghast because of
They'll
her.
be
Because I can't remember what
scandalized. Yeah.
the context was. And even I was a bit like shocked at her reply. And she was like, but that is her most honest answer. So yeah, maybe we'll get the result on it. I would really
Yeah, I
like
think
like
I think
hold
we
down.
should. So if you have somebody in your auntie or mom that is, a bit older, like late 50s, 60, and wants to come on and kind of is the yuppie babe that will actually talk. I
Mhm,
think it's so essential because so one of the questions was like I think my one of the things I enjoyed was how obviously we're very different from them and we
mhm,
are let's even not even exposed but just we're just different and we kind of are open to more choices and so we were
mhm.
asking them what they think we've gotten right and what they think we've gotten wrong and it was so interesting because it wasn't really what I expected but it was
Can you give me
hilarious.
a hint of what they said?
So, for example, one of the things that they said very quickly was like the way we see friendships as not as competition, not as, all those things now from that
Mhm,
year
mhm,
where a lot of people in our mother's generations were taught, oh, you're married, don't hang out with your single friends, oh, your
mhm,
friends
mhm,
are not this.
mhm,
Eye service, something good happens, you're not supposed to share. And so they were first talking about how we like just, we see it so completely differently and the
mhm.
quality of maybe our own friendships in this generation is quite different from
From
theirs.
there.
And then
Right.
I think some of the other things, they're just like we are so hard strung about so many things that they're like, whatever. They're
Yeah, my
just
mom
like
thinks the same thing. People
yeah,
are very
they're
high
just
strung.
like you are
Think
so
everything.
caught up about things that honestly, who cares? They're a bit like I think because they were very exposed that we just have so many things that we think are crucial that come to find out when you turn 60, you're like, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. And they're just like, it's just we're very fussed about certain types of things. We take everything so seriously. Someone was joking about and you want to do everything at the same level of intensity. You want to do girl boss, you want to do mom, you want to do wife, and they're just like, okay, no problem, kill yourself. You get like
Fair
that's
enough.
yeah, and they're joking about little things like obviously so some people had children there like they laugh when they see their daughters doing intense sleep training and it's like okay you that did sleep at 7:30 what happened to you?
Yeah. I mean,
They're just
we
like there's some
so
things that are just interesting and they're like, okay, no problem. You just keep going along. And obviously there was another thing about the good and bad of like we're more self-aware, mental health, blah blah. But they're like on the other hand, bro, you
we're
people
too
say
far.
a lot. Yeah, they were just like
We're too
honestly,
far.
sometimes you
Yeah.
need to keep it moving.
Yeah. We don't have
So
enough
it was
room
very
for just
interesting. Yeah, obviously relationships, that was a huge topic and we went
mm,
into it. They very much acknowledge that they themselves don't know who raised the men that we're dealing with because they actually not aware, but they were acknowledging that they feel like their generation failed at um
well-rounded boys.
raising well-rounded boys, and a lot of them were focused on girls. It was very, very. There was a lot of talk about money. Listen, it was too interesting and different. They had different experiences. Some were like, their partners made them stop working. Some, it was just me. I just think it's essential, Sha, that
It
if
is
people
though.
can be honest, you should
It
actually
is.
talk to them because
It is.
now that they're not on the other side of it, but they're at a stage in life where like most of them have peaked, a lot of them are retiring. So they're now
Mm,
allowing themselves to be sort of in their own
I'm
lane.
more
I
honest.
think
Yeah.
it was very, very I was kind of shocked by the openness, but it was an enclosed environment, obviously. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was okay. But if you have people at home that you can sit down with, it's very important to no
Very,
no 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 no
very,
no no.
very.
It is
I,
extremely
I love that so much. It's something that I really wish I was I wish I would be able to do with more people. But because of my upbringing, I'm also surrounded by a lot of people who, and this is not a bad thing, but they view
Mm-hmm.
their identity, a lot of their ideology is from the lens of faith. And so it's constantly like
Yeah.
hopeful or should, not the
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of like, well, they should, we should, ideally should. I'm like, okay, I understand that part, but I need to hear the reality,
Yeah.
right?
Of
Not just
things.
like
Yeah.
from a faith-based point of view or faith-based um perspective. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's very interesting and just yeah, quite crucial to me. So me, I'm like, well, I'm gonna try and start the thing down. And I think the honesty part is important because if not for that, then you just end up with all these
There's no
platitudes.
point.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's a
whatever, whatever,
lecture.
whatever.
It's
Yeah.
a fake lecture that nobody wants to hear because
Yep.
everybody wants what the answers should be. So I'm not coming to
Yeah.
you genuinely for stuff that I could get from reading a girl boss, this let's break down the 10 things this MD said at her talk. If that's what you're going to be
Yep.
giving
I'm
me
like,
information.
guy, yarn me, tell me what is going on.
Yeah.
How did you? And I was talking to one of my other aunties about this, and she was now, so I was kind of having a similar conversation with her. She was with her friend, and she was saying that one of the things she thinks is so interesting is because obviously when they were doing all these things coming up, there was no social media in this way. And she
Mm.
thinks it has had a significant and mostly negative impact on the way we just operate. She's just like, there's so much access just every time, every day, every day, every day.
I
And that
agree.
it makes everything infinitely more complicated than it is. And so we're talking about the good and bad of that. And she was like, that's one of the major things that she's just like, she actually thanks God that she didn't grow up in this generation where everything was online because you
Do you know
can't
why?
even just live your life, do mistake, do this one, that one
Do you know
without
why I agree? I feel
Mm.
like there's no other marker of saying how much of a negative impact social media has had on people's minds than the fact that people have to announce the fact that they are re-wearing their own clothes. That to me is
Yes.
so insane. The fact that we feel like we need to announce because it's something that you could technically be embarrassed about. The fact that you're re-wearing your own clothes in a public way is crazy. That is
Yeah,
crazy. I'm
and
so
I'm like,
sorry.
but we paid for it, and I kind of like, there's so many things, and she was saying that she talks to people, and when they're discussing decisions, she was like, especially when they're discussing, so this aunt is regularly advising people on career or whatever, and she was
Mhm,
saying
mhm.
it's so interesting or relationships when she's talking to a lot of girls 30 something and they're trying to make big decisions relationship career wise, and they say things that she's like the undercurrent of it is essentially how it looks. And not how
Mhm.
it looks like in a character, literally how it appears like, it's almost
Visually, yeah.
like the post that you do about it and she's like, I don't think I could have dealt with this.
Yeah.
I
A
don't
lot of
think I
people are
could have
barely
dealt with
dealing.
this.
Yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
people are
And
barely
we think
dealing.
that it doesn't affect, but I see even it happens to me as well
Mhm.
quite often. I laugh when me and my friends discuss, like obviously we went on holiday, there were many pictures and we will all be like, oh, should I post this on story, this, that. And I remember someone was just like, isn't this such a strange conversation that we always
Yes.
have? Like, what is the bloody big deal? But we're all like, oh, what do you think? Even like the order. And it's normal because that's what we do. But we were like, this is weird, Sha, is it not?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so I don't
Yeah.
know. It's very interesting. Like one of my friends was laughing that she wanted to do a reel, but she's like, she's not a real gal. Like she just posts pictures. But
What?
obviously based on the holiday, she wants to just give them. And it was so funny because I was laughing. I was like, I know exactly what you mean because with all the content I have, I figured let me just do one and everything will come at the same time because I don't want to post this thing hundreds times. And I was like, when did I start doing this kind of content? And we were just like,
Exactly. When did you
is this
start
not a
caring?
yeah, we're like, this is not a stupid conversation. And we both just started laughing because we were like, I promise you, you post this thing, not one person is going to say, which
Since when
one?
did
When
you
do you
become a
like
real
when did
girl?
this become your aesthetic? No one actually
No
and
one
or
gives
if
a
I see
crap.
people do different things, I don't actually it doesn't necessarily cross my mind to be like, who sent
She's
you to
sweet.
do a
Yeah.
video? Since when? But it's just weird that these are um But we were doing it throughout, and we all were laughing at ourselves. Like, why are we discussing if we should post this on our story? Like, shouldn't it just be, it's coming up and going? Yeah, it was very interesting. Anyway, so these are interesting things. Me, I found it very exciting, and they were also another thing that I found interesting was they were talking about how they don't think that because they didn't learn that much about like money, values, making it, saving it as women, they don't think they also imbibe that into us as well, which I agree with.
Yeah,
Where
100%. The
we
only
never
thing I
spoke
will
about
say
it.
is we also weren't taught to take as much because the focus on like raising a healthy girl in the 90s, I would say, like 80s, 90s, was for her to be respectful,
Yeah,
kind, raised to be a good person,
domestic.
a good mother, a good domestic person she can take care of, not even just herself, but like her future home was a big thing. It was always in terms of taking care in a domestic sense. It was never taking care in a financial sense.
Yeah,
While one is stronger than the other in the reality of the world we live in today. You
yeah,
can outsource
exactly.
domestics, but you can't outsource your financial freedom. You actually can't.
Yeah, you can.
You can
And like you
go.
just the world is running on money and opportunities and things like that. And like a lot of us are just not keyed in.
Yeah, I
Um
even use myself as an example. My mother was an excellent mother, still is. But a lot of my fondest memories with my mother don't include like I love how my mother like bathed me or how she made this
yeah,
thing for me to eat or whatever. So it also has shaped how I view like the rank of like importance. And I find myself, we've spoken about this so many times, how scared I am to take business to take on certain types of business things because it feels deeply unnatural. And
yeah,
it's unnatural not because I wasn't built to do it. I'm a human being with a brain. I'm built to do anything I can conceive of. But there's something, the fear is from a lack of knowledge, really,
yeah.
of how to go about certain things. So yeah, I don't know. I really think we should find people who will be as honest as they possibly can. That would be fun. But yeah, I like. Oh my god, I'm so envious.
No, I
I'm so
can't lie.
envious.
It was like I've actually been begging my mom that okay, yeah, turning 60, let's run this thing because I'm actually more from a point of I'm so curious about what you're going to say. But
But your
now I
mom
want
is
to
such
be
a
doing it. Yeah, I want to be doing it frequently. I'm like, just get two of your friends. I'll carry like six of my own friends. We'll sit down, and it will just be because you know that it's a safe space. I think that's what made it. But honestly, great shout. Everybody should go and do it with their mommy. I promise you. I think is actually the a top 10 idea that I've
And
very much liked. So,
the more honest your mom can be, the better your relationship will be. Like my mom is my
of
friend now.
course. Yeah, same.
My
There's a
mom is
lot of
my
conversations we can have now that I dare not have had. I dare not have broached in the past. But now it's just kind of like, listen, at this age, we really must come to certain conclusions. So I just think it is a fantastic move for everyone to just, especially having seen the results of. I think it's just interesting for people who have seen the results of decisions they've made, where we are still making those decisions. To be like, I've gotten to the end of this, and this is what me I saw. This is what me I saw there. So lovely
Fake me, hold
times,
on.
lovely times.
Your
Okay.
your camera has gone off on our side.
Oh, I don't know why.
Okay, it's back now.
So
It's back now.
yes,
That's
it's
good. Okay.
lovely. Okay. Do we have dilemmas? Let me see.
Yeah,
Should I see?
we have many
I've not
dialects.
actually checked. It's so funny because every time I bumped into someone and they were like, I mean, they don't mind. They're happy that we recorded down, but they're just like, this is not the thing I want to hear. I want to know what's going on. As in, what have you people been up to? I said, girl, you're gonna have to wait to.
This
You're gonna
person,
have to wait.
this person calls themselves under 30 and says this is a nice thing. They were like, I was going through a friendship breakup when I went to the Red Circle viewing that you guys hosted. I had so much anxiety that I would be alone and awkward, but I ended up meeting two really amazing babes. Thank you for the podcast because you've built an amazing community for the girlies. That's what we do, honey.
Oh, that's so cute. I really
That's what we
enjoy
do.
that. I
And you
really
mentioned
enjoy that.
we don't do them all the time, but it's why we're very specific about doing live events. Like we like
Yeah. Eh? What just happened?
community things.
I feel like this thing has gone off again.
Yeah, it has. Is it your phone?
It's my phone.
Yeah.
It's when I get certain types of notifications that
Oh,
it comes
right,
over
right,
the screen. Yeah.
right. Okay, fair.
I've tried to cancel that now.
Okay.
Anyway, yes. Oh, that was really lovely. I really love that because I'm trying to think about the problem is I don't really go to things like events like that alone, even though I do, but I'm trying to think of situations where I've met people like at random things. The problem is I talk a lot, so it's not
Yeah,
quite the same. But those are my
you
favorite stories.
don't have that kind of social anxiety.
No, I don't. I don't have it at all. Let me not lie to you. I've never walked into a place and thought, "Oh my God, I'm the only one here." That was the people's business. Which is very interesting as a perspective. Okay, let's see. Okay, I finally entered this day. I people really wrote things. Oh, Jesus
Mm-hmm.
is Lord.
Let me read one from someone that calls themselves FK's wedding venue, who says, "Hey
Right.
girls, my one that got away is getting married." Damn. My ex ended things with me for reasons that I personally felt was silly at the time, and I went through a long period of grief and was finally moving on. I recently found out he's getting married, and it feels like I'm back to square one. It feels like the time we broke up all over again, and I'm even embarrassed with myself for feeling like this after the time it's taken. How do I speed up the breakup 2.0 process and move on without going through all the regrets and daydreaming of what could have been? FK, please don't insult me too much. I'm going through a lot. Ah.
My sister, wake up from that dream. Which daydreaming
No,
of what could have
now.
been?
No,
What do you
because
mean, no, now?
no, in this instance, he's actually the one that got away. So like this was a
No,
great
I'm not
relationship.
insulting her because he's not. I actually believe there is the one that got away,
For
right?
who, nigga?
But
Do
listen, he
you
has
have somebody
gone.
that got away for Ikemi?
Me? No, no, no.
Yes.
I'm usually the one that is away.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
Who
I
got
was
away
wondering.
from where? How did they go? Listen,
But
I'm not
yeah,
into letting anybody go anywhere.
do you know
My
the thing?
point is that she needs to wake up.
No, it's not just that, but it's also that the problem is that if she tries to trick herself into waking up, this thing is going to be even more extended. You have to just
Okay,
cry. You have to
you
cry
have to
again.
go. You have to go through it, and you have to
Yes.
acknowledge that you're in a situation that is not real.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're mourning a loss that is there, like emotionally. But again,
Mhm.
I don't want you to I don't want you to think that it is don't hold on to the one that got away thing. I need to focus on the fact that he has married, he has gone, and just
Mhm.
deal with whatever that is bringing up for you. Because what I don't want is for you to like keep whining yourself about this thing of, oh, it should have been like that. It could have, it has gone, it
Yeah.
has gone.
Just
And
go
then
on.
dealing with the
Yeah.
loss of the fact that it has gone is one thing. But please don't spend too much time like dwelling on. I think we build a lot of castles of people like in our especially men in our heads, and again this is a man who is actively marrying somebody else, you know what I mean? So at this point it's okay to mourn the loss, that's always hard, and seeing people that you've been with be with other people is hard. I don't care what people say. Me, I saw
Yep.
somebody I went out with in primary school with their wife, and I was just like, bro, that's crazy.
Let me, I beg.
In fact, he even introduced me as his primary school girlfriend to the girl.
Oh
So
God.
that's how stupid we are. But every time I see him, that's what we say. But I was just like, damn, that's really crazy. And I had to ask
Hmm.
myself, primary five. So my
Uh,
sister, I understand, but I just think if you have a friend that will not laugh at you, you can be telling them, what's going on. But I think the sooner you mourn it and release it, the better for your life. But that thing of what could have been, that's a trap. It's a very, very serious trap. And I think that you just yeah, you have to find a way to release. Yeah, fine. Do you believe in the one that got away?
um, the older I get, I do.
Yeah.
The older I get, I do. I think there are adult relationships that can end for reasons that are not like don't feel as earth-shattering for one person as they did the other, and you just think, but we were so good together. Why would it because of something that's minute to me? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like, I believe in that the older I get, but sometimes when I hear people talk about like younger ones that got away, I'm like, no, babe, that's just the first person you had sex with.
Yeah, like there's attachments that happen, and I think you just have to acknowledge that. But I do think people are not replaceable. And so a lot of times where some of this
Sorry, one
move
sec.
on can. So this is from Big Small Jen. This person says, gods of our land, gods of our land. I'm about to lose the love of my life because I have Small Jen in my nose. Okay, yeah, guys, I snore. And it's crazy because I could have sworn that I didn't until my roommates in university pointed it out to me. Since then, I've been so self conscious. I don't do sleepovers. And if there's anything that makes me stay out of my home at night, I stay awake for most of the night just so I don't turn on the jet.
Oh my
And
god.
it's not like I'm fat, so are you crazy? I'm a size 10, 12. Also, that's not how people snore. But I tried everything, guys. I've used the gym for close to a year, and I've added partial starving to it with the expectation that maybe if I lose small weight, I would stop. What biology is this? Now, onto the cocoa. I met a man after so many years of being single. We've been having a great time, and anytime he wants to spend time together, I find an excuse. This man showed up to my house once when I was having some difficulty at work. And after a long day of TLC, where I fought hard not to fall asleep, lest the lister comes on, I had to find a way for him to leave that night. I told him one stupid lie about how my sister wanted to spend the night with me. I'm sure he's been suspecting something. Now he's planned a getaway for my birthday next month. What do I do, guys? We've practically seen each other's underwear, so I can't even pull that card. So this man will finally see my Fiona after sunset. And I'm an insanely hot babe. Oh, I don't deserve this. Anyways, thanks guys for hosting the best podcast in the world. At least if I lose this man, have you guys to listen to iPad.
What a lunatic. What an absolute lunatic.
First of
What
all, are you
a lunatic.
crazy? Sorry, I just want to address. Do people think that if you lose weight, you stop snoring?
Yeah, but that's like, do you know what?
Because that
Let's
is
not,
not a thing.
the fact that she's even gotten into partial starvation, girl, this is crazy behavior.
It's crazy behavior because my question is who informed you that if you starve yourself, you won't snore? I don't think that's like the
That's
person I
not
know
how
that
it
snores the
works.
loudest is very skinny.
That's not the way it works, babe. It's also not a big deal.
Yeah,
Let's not even
babes.
tell him
First
you
of
know.
all, I would stop that about the starvation situation. Like, if you're in the gym, that's cool, but it has nothing to do with your body weight and size. And secondly, again, are you okay? So you don't want to go to the getaway because of the snoring?
Just tell him you snore. Like, I
Just tell
can't
him you
believe,
snore.
I can't
Tell him you
believe that
snore.
this
Tell
is a
him it's
thing.
bad. Like, wear one of those nasal strips
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
nasal things.
Yeah, get one of those things that you put on your nose. Listen, if he's going to leave you because of snoring, my sister, it's better you let
Nah,
him be the one that got away. But I don't think it's that. I think you are making
yeah,
it more than what it is. People snore. It's fine.
that is crazy.
People snore. Yeah, that's really crazy, but that's hilarious. Let me not lie. I just yeah, this is really funny. I don't think I would care about things like this. Obviously, if you're snoring, it's terrible. I'm a light sleeper, so I can't do that.
Bele.
Personally, but if it's just normal, at the end of the day, you sleep, you wake up. Or I just feel like things like this are not worth scattering a situation for because of snoring. But she's very self conscious about it, which is clear. And I think you need to just tell him, and then let's see his own reaction because I doubt he'll take it as seriously. I feel like he will laugh when he finds out that this is why you've been running away from spending the night or
Yeah,
whatever. Because
and just get the nasal plugs,
I
get
didn't
the
get the nasal. I didn't
and
get the nasal
get
script
him
for
earplugs as
sure.
well. Like, just be proactive and just be like, by the way, I
Yeah,
smoke quite badly, so blah blah blah. Like, it's just that simple. Don't
yeah.
over.
Consult Google and ChatGPT. You're not the first to be in this situation, my dear. There are people that are doing it. Figure out what earplugs people are using to sleep. what's nasal, what people are doing for snoring, but I promise you, it's not this deep the way I'm making it. I think you just need to. Yeah, a big girl. Yeah, a big girl. I think you just, like you said, yeah, an extremely hot babe. I don't think that's gonna be his main reason for leaving you. Okay, do you have
Mhm.
one?
Yes, I have one from somebody called Ash, who says, so I
Problem.
have an oversharing problem. For context, I'm a 20-year-old Nigerian Canadian who left Nigeria at 13. I then lived in a predominantly white small town in rural Canada for all of high school, and I'm now attending a more diverse university with a lot of Nigerians, particularly ones that have spent a lot more time in Nigeria than in the diaspora. In my small town, everyone knew everyone, and that Nigerian cross of shame wasn't really a thing, meaning people casually spoke about anything ranging from family issues to dating life or whatever. So I've evolved to being the definition of an open book. I easily fall for safe spaces, and before you know, I'm venting and talking about my entire life story. Now that I'm in university, I've had people telling me to my face that I overshare, and some people gossiping behind my back that all I talk about is my trauma or how my parents aren't together and that I'm constantly looking for pity. In reality, it's not the case. I talk about my life. When I talk about my life, it's just me venting or using myself as an example of why you should be careful and not do certain things. Anyway, due to these complaints and the fact that I don't like the way I'm being perceived, I would like to work against this habit and I could use some input. How do I keep small talk at just small talk and respond to a how are you without revealing my entire life story to the public? Ah, Bele.
This is a case where even when they've told you, you haven't learned. Like, when we say, "Oh, go and do it," that when they disgrace you, you stop.
Yeah.
In your own case, you've not stopped.
It's cultural though. It's because of
Yeah.
how she grew up. I think it's actually
Yes.
just practicing over time and override your instinct to think that something is rude. So in your
Yeah.
hometown, if somebody says, "Oh, how are you doing?" and you just say fine, they might probably think, "Oh, this person is definitely not fine because they're being rude." But in
Yeah.
larger society, the polite thing to say is, "I'm well, and how are you?" So what you need to also learn to practice is actually asking more questions than you speak. That's the main thing. When somebody says, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Oh, that sounds interesting. What else happened? Don't start off that way. And over time, you realize that you're learning to actually talk less because you're actually listening to people.
Yeah.
And when you're listening, you'll be reading their body language. You see if they actually just, when they start fidgeting, oh shit, that they didn't actually want to talk. They were just being polite when they said, how are you? But because you're talking, you're not seeing.
Yeah. I think
So
you
yeah.
need to learn to be reining yourself in and also asking more questions. Because if you start asking people, "Oh, how is," you won't have time. You won't have time to,
Yeah.
and then it'll be rude for you to just keep interrupting them. So it's just one of those things that you are conscious of it now, and you actually have to discipline yourself because otherwise you will end up pushing a lot of people away because they're just like,
Mhm.
this one you. And the problem with oversharing, especially when you're doing it all the time, is that it ends up feeling like you don't care about anybody else. Because you're always talking about yourself, which I know is not your intention, but I don't know. I think it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, but I think that's
I have,
well, right.
yeah,
Sha. That's
we
it.
are right.
Say
We're
hi,
correct.
learn to ask more than you listen and pay attention to people's body language over time. Every time people ask you a question, keep your answers succinct and turn it back to them. And over time you also realize that when you allow people talk a lot, you will now realize how much you are talking.
Yeah,
Because you'll
because
be like,
now you're
wow.
like, whoa, you're really saying things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I have two. Do you
Okay,
want
please.
one about
No, just do one after
um
the other.
okay. So this one is ties a line with this, the one that got away. You people are not okay.
Hmm.
This is from Very Tired. This person says, 2 years ago, I saw someone at an event. We didn't speak, but for 2 years till recently, he was my crush, my one that got away. My prayer request to God was just to meet him again. Just so you know, I've asked everyone I knew from that event if they know him and they didn't. I've
Mhm.
spoken about him to all my girls to the extent that they think the reason I am still single is him. Now to the issue, which she wrote in all caps. One of my best friends came to Nigeria and her mentor introduced her to a guy. For context,
Oh
she
god.
just got out of a not so good relationship. She sends me
Oh
a
god.
picture of the guy, and he's my guy, the guy that I most likely love. They hit it off pretty quickly and they started dating almost immediately. Now I'm a grown ass woman and I was ready to move on and forget about him because I love my girl. However, now she talks about him to me all the time. I even help with
Uh-oh.
relationship advice. I'm helping to
Oh God.
plan the wedding, hopefully by the end of the year. And she's constantly asking me about my crush guy and if there's any updates. Um,
Wow.
I was actively using FBI methods to find him. I had his name and a blurry picture. I actually think I'm running mad and need serious advice, please. Okay, I want to explore two separate things. The first thing is why you have, because at first I thought your friend knew that this was your crush guy and she's literally asking you about him because she doesn't realize that this is the guy. So the problem is, it was early on that you should have just said, "Oh shoot,
Yep.
this is the guy," and what would have been an awkward maybe 1 or 2 days would now have passed because everybody has bloody moved on, and she too, she might be more sensitive about all the information she's sharing, but she's just being your normal friend and talking to you about her relationship.
This is crazy.
Meanwhile, the second thing I really want to explore is, sorry, the guy you most likely love and you've been praying to God to meet, you saw him at an event, but you didn't speak.
So how do you
I
know
want
you
to,
love him?
thank you very much. I want to examine that to the point where the reason you might still be single is because you are hoping to meet him. Is he really that serious?
That's crazy.
Crazy,
Yeah.
oh. Because when you wrote the one that got away, I had to read again that you didn't speak. So where did he get away from?
Her mind. He got away from her mind.
Okay, but how?
Fake, I mean, this is the same thing you were speaking about earlier of building castles in the sky. Like you literally
You
saw this.
saw
You know what this is
him.
giving? Um, what was that name? That was that James Blunt song that he saw that babe in the rain and you're beautiful.
Yeah.
And he made a whole song, imagined a
Do
whole
you know
life
that for a
together.
long time I
Nothing.
didn't gauge what that song was about? It's very creepy when you look into it.
Yeah, he
Ah,
dreamt a whole situation and it was just them from afar. What I want you to do, babe, is go and watch Love Actually and see what you might end up being. Yeah, 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 yeah.
you
Remember
actually need to.
the guy
Yeah.
that was obsessed with Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want you to go and watch so that you can see how ridiculous they are being. Babe, you met that man. You thought he was probably the finest man you've ever
Inshallah,
seen. Your
they
pennies.
didn't meet. They didn't meet.
No,
She saw
what was that?
him
She saw him. Her pennies got
and he
soaked,
didn't
and
see her.
she has never had that reaction before in her life. And she was like, "No, this has to be my husband. I've never been so attracted to somebody before, so it doesn't make any sense otherwise."
Do you know that even me, do you know that, to be honest, I want you to email me his picture. I really need to
To see
understand.
who this guy is, bah.
I really need to see what's going on because as like how so I'm mostly stuck on how it got to this point for you where you have actual feelings for somebody that you've never spoken to.
It's not. It's also not real because she doesn't know the man. Like she doesn't know the man. But
She
also,
doesn't. I
do you think that some of this stuff is it's giving? It reminds me of what's the context? It reminds me of like how a lot of Disney stuff is. You know, the princess will always just see the princess.
Yeah, it's love at first sight, but let me tell you the difference with love at first sight. Usually two of you are looking at yourselves.
Fair.
So there's even I saw you, you saw me. This
Okay, do you know
one,
what? I'm not trying to encourage her. Okay, no, but no, actually I was about to because I still end up collaborating with what you said because do you know this actor Jeff Bridges?
mhm,
Yeah, that's what happened to him. He saw his wife for the first time in his life and he felt like he
he was
was frazzled.
mesmerized. So
Yeah,
I
he was
get it.
frazzled. But he spoke to he spoke to her.
Exactly. I get a brief encounter that you're like, whoa. But there's an encounter. This one
Yeah.
of I just saw you passing by and I've been looking for you. As how now?
Well, that was, and also, ma'am, this, yes,
2 years is really crazy for a crush show.
2 years is when even the most dedicated of mothers stop using months to describe their child. My
Look,
sister,
do you know what it is for you to think that you're in love with a man you saw once
2 years ago.
and you've been trying to find him since then?
Yeah, you need to let it go, sister.
And then the thing is, now, obviously, you are like, I don't know what. So the problem is, you have to tell your friend, but now it's very awkward because the time you should
I
have
mean, she
told
has to
her
tell her
was,
friend what? Are you joking? She can never tell her friend anything. That is the weirdest, creepiest
Jola,
thing in
let
the
me tell you something.
world.
The friend already knows. The friend is going to find out that it's him.
No, no. The friend
They
can't
have
find
other
out because
mutual friends.
nobody else
She's going to
knows.
find out. Other
Fake, I mean,
people
there's
know.
no way.
Okay, does nobody else know?
Nobody else knows because nobody else knows who this guy is.
Okay, that's true. She only has a blurry picture, Sha, but she has his name.
Yes. Nobody knows who this guy is. Nobody knows who this
I'm
guy
telling you, this
is.
girl that wrote to us, she told one of our friends his name.
No problem, Fake, I mean, I want to put it
She
to you
told one of
that
our friends his name,
okay,
and
Fake,
that
I mean, I
friend
want you to
is
ask
gonna
you
put two
something.
and two together.
Fake, I mean, I want you to imagine me telling you while we're planning your wedding. So,
The love of my life.
so the person I'm talking about for a year. Keep in mind that you guys have been together for a while, and I haven't said anything.
And also, you knew when we met.
Please, that is the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah,
My
let me
my
know.
girl,
Like,
you
you
have to
can't say
lie.
you can't say
You
shit. You
have
have
to
to die with
lie.
this. So,
You have to lie, and
girl, you
something
have to
happened to
lie
me.
and just say that you freed that pay. You freed it.
Yeah, that you know you are being silly. That you can't lie.
No,
That
no, no.
something
Let
just
me know.
happened
Like in
recently, and
hindsight,
you
what I said is crazy. You cannot tell her.
what?
No, you can't tell her.
If
You
she
actually
had
can't
just
tell
met,
her.
if she can't, if you had just met this guy, if your friend had just met this guy last week, I'll be with Fake and be like, okay, yeah, you can see something.
Yeah, like I think if you
At
just,
the
and the
point
thing
of
is,
wedding,
it wouldn't even stop your friend from moving forward, but that would have been time to laugh and be like, oh my god, this is actually the guy. But now they're getting married. Also, I mean, we have to take into account the guy does not remember you because once
at
again he did not
all,
see you at that event.
at
He did
all,
not see you. But this is, let me not lie to you, this is actually a huge castle. And you have to ask yourself why you have been in love with an imaginary person for 2 years.
bro.
Like to the point where you're praying to God for him to, well, God answered your prayer, Sha. Shout out to God because what you prayed for, that's why you have to be specific. What you prayed for was that you meet him again. And lo and bloody behold, have you not met him now? You met him now. It's just that you should have been more specific in your prayer about the context of meeting him. Maybe you should have said, and God, please don't let me meet him as my friend's boyfriend. You know, that could have
Gosh.
helped. But I can't lie, I don't know how you get to this point. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out how I get to a place where I am actively, I mean, they're crushes. Like you see people and you find them very attractive. That one is normal. But it has never gotten for me to a place where like I actually think that there's anything significant as in between the two of us based on the fact that I don't know them. I don't know. I'm finding this to be crazy. But I don't know. I mean, I don't not. I think love at first sight is a thing, but again, I think that happens when two people connect, not just you seeing someone. So I won't lie. I would dig deeper into how this happened for you, and also I would focus very much on freeing it because this thing of you're running mad means that in your mind, you like it sounds like in her
There's
mind
more.
this is still her guy, and there's just nothing.
I'm shy.
And I want you to know that the serious advice you need is it's too late for you to tell her.
1,000,000%.
It's too late for you to mention this. It's too late for it to be relevant to anything. Also, you need to find a way for her to stop asking about your crush. You know that if one of my friends told me this, I don't even think I'll be asking her about it. After a while, I'll have to be like, sis, should we not free this thing? Because I'm just trying to think about it. If you told me that you saw the love of your life at an event,
Yeah, I know. I trust you to never answer me, Fake me.
to be so, I would have to ask you that I don't understand. You don't know him.
I
He didn't
promise.
see
I
you.
trust all of my friends to be like that is crazy behavior. Imagine me
It's
telling Bolu no,
crazy. That,
or
like at
John.
some point, I wish one of your friends had said to you, sis, this is not okay.
Yeah,
Anyway, so
you've
my advice
wasted
to
years.
you
Oh.
is that you have to let it go in your mind. You have to release it in your mind because this is not the one that got away. He was actually never there. So this thing that you have in your head that he got away, you need to kill it immediately. Okay, the other one I have is
Can
nerd girl.
give me
Oh,
30 seconds, please.
okay.
All right.
Okay. What's the other one that I have? Right. Eh? Have I lost it? That's crazy. Okay. Mm, wow. Okay, no, I found it. Okay, Skepta's wife says, "Hello, FK Angela. Sorry, it's a long read. My parents are pastors, and because of their busy schedule, they were never around physically and emotionally. Even when they were around, they couldn't bother to be available, but they always provided financially. For
Okay.
example, if they had administration, they would drop us off at our school boarding house until the administration was over. Now, I don't hold this against them. Actually, maybe I do. But then they wanted us to move to America so we could all be closer. Even when we moved, we were never closer. Coming to America made me realize that I don't really like my parents' behavior and the way they act.
Mhm.
Moving to America and starting a church out of our own pockets put our family in a horrible place financially. Now to the dilemma. My brother joined the military just to run away from home because they wouldn't let him go. But then he got a tattoo and a girlfriend. The way my father found out was too funny. His girlfriend came to see him in the state he lives in, and he asked her to be his girlfriend. That's the brother. They took pictures, and he was holding her in an unchristian kind of way. He posted it on Instagram, but accidentally also shared to Facebook, and my father saw it. My father started insulting him, saying he's a failure, a disappointment, and has a low
And
IQ, and that his mates in Nigeria have already finished university, but he hasn't, and all sorts of things. Mind you, when we moved here, we all got put in a lower grade than we were in Nigeria. They both stopped talking to each other. Now, my sister, she graduated high school last year and got a full scholarship in another state. Thankfully, they let her go because they knew they couldn't afford the fees. They couldn't afford her fees, and she changed her major from medicine to education because she only did medicine for them. Now, when she changed, they were mad and claimed she doesn't love them. They now want her to move back home to be closer to them and also run the struggling church. We all don't like them because of this trauma it has caused us. They see us as a retirement plan and a liability. Every time we talk to them about it or complain, they say we don't love them. Mind you, these are people that when we were teenagers with teenage jobs, we will support them financially, and we still do to this day. They both don't know what to do because my brother doesn't want to have a relationship with them, and my sister doesn't know how to express her feelings to them. As for me, their manipulation and gaslighting don't work for me because I just don't care. Frankly, they're kind of scared of me because they're careful with their words around me. And so, what can my siblings do?
hmm. I think parents that are overbearing, um, well, the problem is everybody is still very young, aren't they?
Yeah,
Of what do you think?
they're not that old. So,
The first
I
one,
mean,
yeah,
go ahead.
no. I'm still trying to figure it out in my head. You go ahead.
Yeah, let me know. Like for the guy, I think, look, you've already gone to the military and you're sort of moving on with your life. I think it's fair enough that you don't want to have a relationship with them right now. I don't think that there's
Mm,
anything that can necessarily be done except to continue to live your own life. Now, the problem is that they are the ones even supporting their parents financially. For
parents.
the sister,
Mm,
I think the challenge is this pressure they are putting on her. She got a scholarship, she moved out of state to kind of give up her own life and come and run their nonsense church that they should not have started in the first place. And on that note, you have to teach your sister how to put her foot down because clearly there are people who, when you are not answering their bullshit, they kind of leave you alone because of the way they treat you. I think what it is you have to get your sister in particular to a place where they also don't think they can try this rubbish with her because they are manipulators and they're looking for who they can talk to.
manipulate.
Your brother is in the military, that one has gone, so that's too bad. Now, your sister is physically in another state, which is helpful. But obviously, they're putting this pressure on her. And from what you're saying, it sounds like it's getting to her. I don't think there's anything they can do apart from stand their ground, though. I'm not sure that is literally because they're not. I don't think there's anything they can do. I wouldn't even say your sister should cut them off or any of that. I just think she's gonna have to stand her ground, because if she gives up this her scholarship to run this church, she's gonna regret this for her whole life.
The rest of her life. Scholarship to run church. What kind of joke is that? No,
Also,
nobody's doing that.
my question is, how can your parents be asking you to do this?
Which
Like, are
since
they so
when?
selfish that they can't understand?
No, nobody's doing that one.
Yeah. So sis, I don't know. Just think that they have to learn to stand their ground. That's the truth of the matter. Because also your parents are not just manipulative, they're also very spiteful, and
Mm-hmm.
they are very into insulting their children. I don't like that thing at all. I find it very, very odd that people who are supposed to be the ones loving and protecting you are telling you things like you have low IQ. Bro, that's very crazy. Oh. No wonder that boy went to the military. Do you know what it is to be like, I'd rather be on the battlefield, honey. Now that there's World War III approaching, that
I
let me
get
fight war. I'd
that
rather
stay
do
up.
that than be with you. I don't know.
Crazy.
I think I think that's a bit crazy.
Okay. Our last one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
This person calls themselves Jola's mentality. Who says, Hi, Jola and FK. I honestly can't believe I didn't listen to my friends much earlier and it took me this long to get into the podcast. You guys are incredible yappers and I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to my. I'm in my mid-20s and the first girl of 3 kids. Unfortunately, our last born is on the spectrum and needs all the assistance she can get. I recently started job searching because I honestly want to move from my current job. I hinted this to some friends and one made me aware of an opening in an institute outside of the country. A few weeks later, I discussed with my dad and asked him to review my CV. To give him credit, he reviewed the CV, but later on he asked, Why are you interested in a foreign job? Who will take care of your sister? Truthfully, I've always known that she's a huge responsibility of mine since I'm the first girl, and our oldest is a guy who has been out of the country for a while. But hearing him say that put such a weight on me and made me question if this is how my life will be forever. For context, my mother is also in the country, just a different region because of work. So it's basically my dad, my sister, and I. I've really been thinking, and honestly, some resentment is starting to build up in me against everyone, including my sister, which shouldn't be because she's very innocent. It took me back to my university days where I thought I'd be offered the same opportunity to study abroad like my brother was. But I was told I'm a girl and I need to stay back for my sister. I let it go because honestly, you just don't know who you can trust around special needs kids, especially girls, and moved forward. Recently, I also decided to actively start dating, and I have ended a couple of situationships because they don't understand that I can be spontaneous, and before any event, I have to be given prior notice to plan for childcare. I would say this doesn't bother me, but it does a lot. Honestly, I don't want to feel resentful, but I don't know how to communicate, and I don't know what to do about this possible job. Damn.
Oh, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
That's very sad, because I mean it's just one of those things where, yeah, between a rock and a hard place. It's I don't think it's out of spite that your parents are asking you that, because it's a difficult situation. Your dad is the only one there. Your mom is working somewhere else, and your brother is already away, and your sister actually needs help. And so somebody has to take care of her. This is the problem. Now, if it sounded like you were in a financial position to get somebody to care for her, I'd have suggested that, but it does not necessarily sound like that.
Seem like
So
that. Yeah.
yeah, the truth
It's really
is
rough.
that I don't know. It's
Um,
rough, but it doesn't sound like this would be the best time, which is very unfortunate, but
yeah,
I'm not sure.
there's three things. I think it's also she also feels bad because the automatic assumption is that it's not a
Is that
family
it has
thing,
to be her,
it's
yeah.
her. And it's also cultural. So this is so odd because I was talking to someone about the idea of African elder care and childcare and how it is built around the free labor of younger women in the family
Mm-hmm.
or poorer
Mm-hmm.
women in the family. God help you if you are both poor and young, and you just
Yeah.
kind of become this unpaid or semi-paid companion for an elderly person or young children. Um, and it's not a role that people are really asked for, expected to, and it's why like developing countries are starting to have problems because with more women working, you know, the assumptions that were there before just don't exist.
Yeah.
If it was that she was given the same opportunity as her brother, she went abroad for school. And the only reason she was given that she didn't go to school abroad is because there'll be nobody to take care of her sister.
Yep.
Your mom also gets to go and have a job in a different state,
And you don't.
and you don't. And so I think the resentment is not coming because she's well aware that it's tough. But I think the problem is that it feels fundamentally unfair. Like, it's crazy that her brother was not even a part of. There was no assumption that her brother would pull his weight in taking
Or
care
her
of their
mom.
sister or her mom. And also dad, right? So I
Yeah.
think problem right now is that even though it is family and you do things for family, you are not wrong in feeling taken advantage of, because they are. Like, right?
They
Like,
are actually taking advantage of you. And it
it's your
is
sister
unfair.
and you love her, but they're still the balance is unkind. Your brother has
Yeah.
had opportunities that you will never have because the assumption was for you to be a carer in a way that he wasn't. If he was half and half, I understand. But in terms of us telling you what to do, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Right? But here's the thing, Fakemi. What do you think happens if she takes the job?
They will sort out. So
Which is
I
a
think the
which
problem is that there will be animosity. And I think one of the other things is the approach.
mm,
I honestly think that she might not have written this dilemma if her dad was like, "Ah, wow, I like this is an amazing job, but
mm,
what will we do? How do we figure it out? Like,
yeah,
what are the options that we have?" I honestly think if it was a situation where how can we sort out care for your sister? And the conclusion was actually the only thing that can work is you staying right now. I don't think
yeah,
it'll be the same as this. I think part of the issue is that whole thing of who will care for your sister, as though none of the other people in the family are as beholden to the sister as her.
as
And
you
I
are.
think that, I mean, I would approach, is there no another solution? Can daddy
100%. And I
try? Can
think
mommy come back? Can my brother come back? But it doesn't sound like there is any openness for that already.
no, they've designed it around her. That's the problem. So
Yeah.
fundamentally, she is they've designed it so that
Yeah,
she's the
she's the
core.
only, so they've left it for her. Yeah.
Yeah. And the
And the
truth
thing
is
is, you
that
can't leave the sister stranded. So I don't now know.
100%. It's also like what the pillars of a satisfying life for a young person in the modern world are. It's like healthy, happy relationships, particularly romantic once you get to a certain age, access to a great education and a good job. The problem
Yeah.
is that because of with the excuse being care for your sister, she's been robbed of those three things
Of those
to a
things,
degree.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
So
not
right,
going
like,
to work out for her if this just continues to happen.
yeah. Also,
I don't know.
just by
It's
the
sad.
way, given in terms of dating, given the context, that's one of the first things you have to be upfront about. Like, don't
You have
allow
to tell
anybody,
them,
don't waste
yeah.
time. You have to tell them from the beginning, like, I'm the primary carer for my sister who has special needs. So I like you, I know you like me. But I don't want you to know that there are going to be a lot of annoying times where you would like us to do something. But unless she's coming with us, like, it's not happening.
Yep.
If she's not coming with us, if you decide that morning that men we should hang out, because you're only
It's
telling
not
me
going
that
to
morning that
work.
it's not gonna work unless you're cool with my sister coming with us. So I
Yeah.
think that might save some heartbreak, not a loss, because it will still feel unfair because people are dickheads. Like, people, and it's not even dickheads. People are just not equipped to be that kind of person,
People
and
are
you
not
have to be.
equipped to handle this. And also, people run away from anything that is like this complicated, where it's easier to say, ah, Omo, I can, like, let me just avoid this. That actually
Mm,
think, okay, I really like this person, and
let me
being
try.
with them means, yeah, being with them means automatically I have to care about how their sister is doing and all of that. The other solution, which I can't assume that you even want, is, does your job pay enough for you to afford care for your sister?
No, but that I would also be resentful of that. My sister. So
Would you
why is it
try
only
that?
me?
Yeah,
Why is it only me?
yeah. Or like,
What do you
does
mean?
it
Why
pay
hasn't the
enough for all
entire
of these
family
people
said
money together? Yeah.
yes? Plus the brother abroad. Your
Yeah.
£100
Everybody
is
should
two
put
hundred
money
k here.
together. Yep.
Your £100 is 200 and something k in Lagos. That is, even if it's partial child, even if it's partial care for somebody to come in every day or even live in care, he's
I
two
think
hundred
so.
pounds.
I think there has
Ah,
to be more of an effort made to find another solution before everybody just accepts it. And unfortunately, it's you that's going to have to enforce that. And more unfortunately, it's going to cause fights. and you
Yeah.
kind of have to be ready for that. But I don't want you to let it go without um trying, because it's
Right.
nobody's fault that this situation is there. Your sister, it has special needs and she needs to be taken care of. The issue is that you also have other able-bodied family members, and at some point, if you don't make it clear, even if you end up not taking the job, if there is never a discussion about who else can step in, it's always going to be you. It's always going to be you,
Yeah.
and you need to lie. Please, I don't want to read this one out because we
Okay.
don't. Well, we are ending. We don't have time to say so much, but I like when people admit things like this. The person is called God Have Mercy. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, Jola and FK. Whatever time you read this. Anyway, so the matters arising. I think I like men too much. I like men too much. Like, I've not done anything out of the ordinary to make other people even feel that way about me. But in my self-assessment, I think I might just like men too much. Like, I yearn to be with a man. Contributing factors, question mark. Maybe the fact that I've been single all of my adult life. I'm 22. My very churchy household, question mark. This should actually make me holy, right? Question mark. But no, like the slightest interaction I have with a fine man and he's already a crush, a fantasy. It annoys me so much, because why can't I keep my emotions in check? The most recent one that's annoying me, self, and the cause of this my rant, is my crush on one of my colleagues. Bear in mind, we only met in the elevator. We don't even work together. Anyway, may God have mercy on me. Please, you people should not abuse me too much. I actually love this because people are not usually self-aware.
Dishonest. Yeah.
But
Or self.
I actually think you're going to be fine because you're already aware that actually it's a bit, you're getting it. You and that girl that met that guy in the event needs to have a word, because
You know what I think this
you.
is
Mhm.
though. No, finish your thoughts. Sorry, Jerry.
No, that's it, pretty much.
It's also like the fact that because we overly intellectualize sometimes normal feelings and make people panic. Being in your early 20s and being curious about men and what's like to be with men if you haven't been before, it's actually quite normal.
It's
Because it's
normal.
just
You're dumb. This is when to do it.
yeah, and it's also just because like it starts when you're a teenager, man. That's when your hormones start going crazy. And some people are able to temper it when they have like a teenage experience that shows them that, oh wow, boys are kind of stupid actually. But you didn't get that. So it's
Yeah.
only like emphasized. And the older you're getting, you're feeling more and more comfortable to sink into it because your society is also now pushing stuff on you. You're in your early 20s,
Yeah.
right? So now everybody talking about relationships, love, marriage, blah, 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 blah. How to be an Esther to his roots and the Boaz to whatever, root to his Boaz, the Esther to his Sulu. I don't even know who the king was. Anyone, Sha. Um, so it is normal to be curious and to daydream and to like boys. But like you said, your worry is that you like man too much. Um, and what it is that your self-awareness is actually going to help you in this
It
instance.
is. It
Yeah,
is.
it's going to stop you. It's going to, because you're aware, so you're going to be thinking before you make decisions. You're going to be like, this thing I want to do, is it because it's a good thing to do, or is it that I'm so desperate to be with a guy that I'm just making these kinds of decisions? So as long as you're self-aware, stay self-aware. Don't worry. Like men and women, when you're biologically attracted to each other, there's curiosity. You're lucky
There
if
is. There is.
you're
And I
lucky
think
if
it's
you're
just
not boy
having
crazy.
crushes. Listen, it happens.
Yeah,
And
it
you're
happens.
again, you're 22.
Yeah,
This is actually the best time to do this kind of dumb shit and to be conscious of the fact that, okay, let's not get carried away, but is normal, and I think you're gonna be fine because
yeah,
you are the one checking yourself. Like
yeah,
nobody has to tell you. So
yeah.
honestly, I think you're all right.
As
I
long as
think
your
you're
boy craziness doesn't override your safety precaution, your safety measures, your like your internal instincts, right? So because you like a guy, you're not like agreeing to stuff you wouldn't agree to normally. Like, oh my god, how when people want to do stupid things that are also bordering on dangerous, they start saying do it for the
yeah.
plot. Until you get there, like don't worry too much. For now, just be out, just remain self-aware and like ask yourself questions often enough. Like, does he really love me or did he just say hi when he passed in the library?
Like, is this the love of my life, or do I just think he's kind of attractive? So
Yeah.
I think we all need to get a bit tempered, and
Mm.
relationships are great, don't get me wrong, but it's not the sum total of everything in life, my dear. And you will come to find that out on your own, which is okay.
Yeah.
So that's it. I think you're
All right.
fine. I actually don't think you need to put it on your head like that. Lovely times.
This has been fun.
Yes.
You guys should forgive Kemi's internet. She
Oh
really tried.
please. Oh
It's
please.
not her
But we
fault.
tried our best. It's not my fault. It's actually the
In
nation.
a country where such
It's not my
things.
fault. I've tried like 4 internet today, and this is the best we can do. So I wish everybody luck. Hopefully,
All right, guys.
the digital
You
thing
know
will
what
get
to
better.
do. Like the podcast, subscribe to
Yeah.
the podcast, share the podcast. Make sure you buy tickets to our London show if
Buy
you're in
the
London.
tickets, so please buy the tickets.
If you're in Dublin, Manchester, everywhere else, we are not doing shows there. It's only London.
So you need to get to London, and that's why you need to buy.
We're even starting earlier than we normally would because we want you guys to be able to come and go on an early train. On the last train. So you still be able to come. You come in the morning.
Exactly. Benevolent queens.
9 o'clock, you're on a train back. All right. So
please buy the tickets, and New York people, we just need 7 of you. I feel like all those pastors that call 10 people to the altar to do something. I need 7 of you to rise up now under the sound of my voice. Buy the tickets. Okay? Please. You see that it will work.
Also, join us in like our bolding thing. Buy bolding and use, for me, eye patches and the skin drops.
The eye patches are really cute. I used them on the plane, and that was lovely.
I'm sure you are feeling cool, Abby, or there.
I was walking around, actually. So that was very lovely. I also really like the mask. It's like a hydrating mask. It feels wonderful.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
This season of I Said What I Said is brought to you by Misan by Bamboo.